You know that Beatles song, With a Little Help from My Friends? Well, that's the rabbit for 2025. By itself, the rabbit does not have a slew of great stars, but fear not. Rabbit has support. So quick intro and then we start, okay? Hi, I am Pauline Chang. I'm a Bazi and Feng Shui practitioner. And I'm not kidding when I say I use this art to empower, not to disempower. So let's take a quick top-down view before we burrow into the rabbit hole. Okay, so now, admittedly, the energy was kind of low in 2024. It was a good year for defense. Staying in the background, keeping out of trouble, good year for foundation building, I would say. In 2025, the energy is starting to trickle back in. How is it starting to trickle back in? Again, Beatles song, With a Little Help from My Friends, which means that in 2025, the rabbit cannot be shy about asking for help. Now, I know this looks disheartening, like, "Hiya, 有冇搞錯?" but realistically, we can't really go from one year with low energy to another year with an overload of positive stars, like boom, we'll go crazy, okay? But I promise I did check. 2026, the rabbit, amazing, awesome, totally slaps, as Gen Z would say, which means that we need to get this one guy to put ourselves in a thriving position, ready for 2026 to happen. So let's move into the individual analysis. Okay, of all the negative stars, this one is really my least favorite because it can be so insidious. Its effect can be so subtle that sometimes we don't catch it. So the effects from the prison inmate is limited perspectives. It can also cause someone to be physically trapped, caught between a rock and a hard place. So in modern day perspectives, this prison inmate heightens the risk of being trapped in a lift, stuff like that. I enjoyed the prison inmate in 2024, got trapped in an electric gate. I'm not kidding, that's a whole other story. Obviously, thankfully, I managed to get out, okay? But more than physically trapped, the other effects of the prison inmate can be emotional or mental traps. Somehow it puts blinders on, which causes limited perspective. So when we see things from a very narrow point of view, very frequently we start to adopt an all or nothing mindset, which causes an urge to stand still. And you experience difficulty creating breakthroughs. Under the effect of the prison star, this guy, prison inmate, if something isn't perfect, it's perceived as a total failure. Hence, the difficulty in breaking through. Because you're thinking, what's the point? I always mess up. Things never work out for me anyway. That's a mental trap. So be very vigilant about the words you hear in your head or the words that you say, whether it's to yourself or other people. If you hear yourself thinking or saying things like no choice, I always mess up, please make a conscious effort to challenge those narratives. This is serious. Without awareness, this can keep you stuck. Okay? And with the overgeneralization and the all or nothing thinking of the prison inmates comes the calamity shah. There are two possible scenarios here. Scenario number one, the mental or emotional effect is fatalistic thinking, defensive, reacting strongly when your behavior or mindset is questioned. Ever met people like that? They complain about their lives and then you offer suggestions and you get shut down, So they shut down or they lash out by saying, I'm just being realistic. You don't know what I've been through, that kind of stuff, right? So we've come across people like this, right? So let's not do that. Please respond rationally, not emotionally. Number two, calamity shah also points to a heightened risk of being affected by a natural disaster. For example, this person receives an evacuation warning because of maybe imminent threat of flooding. But because of the prison inmate, limited perspective, person refuses to evacuate and result stuck on the roof. So for the second scenario, typical advice is, firstly, if you're asked to evacuate, move lah. Okay. Secondly, the calamity Shah is also trying to tell you that there may be some damage to your house that needs repair. So where exactly? Rabbit is in the east, so the east sector. Best to get the small repairs done before the damage gets worse. Okay. And thirdly, stay updated with your home or car insurances or your personal or medical insurances. Finally, if the calamity Shah heightens our risk of being affected by natural disasters, the logical answer is don't travel to places that are disaster prone. Okay, so finally, we have the sky dog and funeral guest. Sky dog is a loss and wastage star. So typically, we advise not to make major purchases when the sky dog is in your chart. Example, new car. So if you must, then please check before you buy, get it inspected if you have to, so that you don't inadvertently end up with a lemon. But if you must buy a new car or a new house in 2025, at least avoid making the major decisions in March, okay? Because it's the month of the rabbit. So the textbook interpretation of the sky dog is potential for injuries that causes scarring. So basically, a little more accident prone, be more present when you're driving, especially if your job requires you to operate heavy machinery or handling sharp objects. And then, funeral guest is basically low energy. When our energy is low, our immune system is also affected. So prioritize self-care, please. Textbook advice, avoid going to places like hospitals where the risk of infection is higher. Added to the prison inmate and calamity Shah, funeral guest becomes self-neglect. So again, I repeat, prioritize self-care and self-love, please. So the rabbit has been quite depressing so far, right? Let's bring in the one star that can help. Okay, thriving. This is trying to tell you that in spite of all this, I can still thrive, not just survive, thrive. Textbook interpretation of the thriving star is wealth or opportunities from friends. This is logic, right? If I myself don't have the support to create my own breakthrough, then what I could do is I borrow from my friends. If I'm stuck in a prison of my own making, I ask my friend to bring a key. If my own energy is low, then I borrow from my friends. If I'm caught in a cycle of negativity, I rely on my support system to pull me out. But the thriving star cannot work if your defenses are so high that people cannot reach you. So use the thriving star to build your support system. Learn to ask for what you need. Be open to advice, and of course, always be ready to give back. And here's the high-level use of the thriving star. Shift your focus to being of service to others. Don't keep looking inwards, look outwards, which means that for 1 year, the rabbit puts your own issues on the back burner, and instead you focus your energy on helping other people. For example, you might volunteer with a charity organization, or maybe you offer to coach or mentor others. Now listen, guys, you're thinking like this, I don't have enough and you ask me to give. This strategy totally works. And this is the one strategy that can even overcome the defensiveness of the calamity Shah. Because when we put our own issues on the back burner, we are no longer providing fuel to these negative guys. We're no longer feeding into these trolls. And without knowing it, when we focus on helping others, somehow we are also able to change our perspective of our own issues, thereby escaping the prison inmate and overcoming the calamity Shah as well. Because when you're no longer focused on keeping your defenses up, guess what? They come down. Okay, so coaches, mentors, and consultants experience this all the time. And for those of you who are watching, will probably agree with me when we're talking to our coachee or our clients. Sometimes the advice and suggestions we offer are the exact same suggestions we need for ourselves. All right, we all experience this little moment in our heads during a session where we go, wait a sec, what did I just say? Okay, I mean, we're human, we have our issues too, you know. So any coaches watching this, if you have experienced the same thing, please share your experience in the comments with me. I'd love to hear from you. And also, when we focus on being valuable to other people, somehow a spark of courage comes in. Courage for self-reflection. Courage to challenge the internal narratives. Courage to take action in spite of our fear and anxiety. So parents share this all the time. They take certain actions or they start businesses because they want to create a better life for their children. When building for themselves is stuck in prison, hiya, wait lah, tomorrow lah, later lah, all right? But when building for their kids, they dare anything, they do anything, they will do whatever it takes. This is the thriving star in action, okay? And by the way, if you're in the business of coaching or consulting, right, please start marketing your services, because your business could really thrive in 2025. And speaking of thriving, if you enjoyed this sharing, don't forget to subscribe and like the video, okay? Now, let's see how this plays out when we apply the rabbit to the various pillars. Okay, let's start with the year, okay? Number one, most important, don't allow one bad pillar to dictate your entire year. I repeat, check your other animal signs. Everyone has a maximum of up to 4. So do not allow one bad pillar to dictate your entire year. Please. Okay? Unless you tell me you have a very special chart, all rabbit. Okay? So you would have other animal signs. So please check on those. Number 2, most people know by now. The year governs our industry, market, network, friends, social media, social platforms. In other words, other people stuck in prison, what got to do with us, right? So maybe this year, when you meet your contacts, you find that among them, there's an uptick of naysayers, people in denial, very negative, defensive. Maybe because of the thriving star, you find yourself the lone voice of positivity in a sea of negativity. So can be quite exhausting, right? Therefore, choose to surround yourself with positive people. Number 3, industry or market you are in seems to be stagnating in 2025, stuck in prison mode. So if you are a business owner or a career professional, such as a consultant or one of those C-suite material who can help flip stagnation into thriving, there is opportunity for career growth. Let's take an example. Intel. Okay, any executive who can go in and turn Intel around is going to be a rock star, agree? So if you pull this off, 2026 for sure going to be awesome, right? Okay, move on. Next, if you have the rabbit in the month, which is the pillar for business and career, okay, this one may be a bit more serious. Number 1, from a business perspective, your business may be hitting a saturation point. Maybe you have maxed out on your existing customer or market base. Or maybe because of the defense mode that the rabbit was in 2024, you may have temporarily stopped innovating. Either way, there's a need to innovate our way out of stagnation, either through creating new products or services, or expand or diversify into new market segments. Okay, and remember how thriving can mean wealth opportunities from friends. Borrow from other people's charts by looking for strategic partnerships or collaborations that can infuse your business with fresh ideas. From a career perspective, this could be either complacency, burnout, or very simply, you may have reached the organizational limits within your current workplace. In other words, the company has no more room for upward mobility, growth, or development. If you continue to stay, you may hit the limit. So, it may cause a bit of a comfort zone thing. So it may be time to seek fresh challenges elsewhere. But most of all, prison inmate in the month can mean that you are stuck on the rinse-repeat cycle. So easy to get stuck doing the same task over and over again, or using outdated strategies. Work is now monotonous to the point that you have lost touch with your big why. Why did you embark on this career or business in the first place? Now, remember I said that the only way to overcome the calamity Shah is to focus on others. Let's hang this around an example, okay? In Malaysia, fried noodles or char kway teow is ubiquitous. You get it everywhere. Some are good, some not so good, right? But let's say our char kway teow hawker started this business because he wanted to create a better life for his kids. But now business has stagnated. Not to say he has no clients, he's still going through the motions, but not much growth, right? So at this point, our char kway teow hawker can either surrender to fate, and then the prison star, and say, oh, what to do? Or he can think, wait a minute, I started this business so my kids can have a better life. So how can I continue to create a better life for them? Then thriving star kicks in. The idea starts coming. Maybe he partners with someone to open up a new stall at a new and better location, right? Or maybe those same kids who inspired his business can now help him, not by frying noodles, but by helping him create his own branding or by making TikTok videos. Kids are great at making TikTok videos, right? So this is just an example. But using the thriving star to overcome the prison inmate is to challenge the perception of no choice. There is always a choice. Doing nothing is also a choice. Okay? Rabbit in the day, either self or spouse. Prison inmate in the day pillar can mean that you may have been self-isolating, either voluntarily or you may have accidentally allowed someone or certain circumstances to isolate you. Okay? In life, we all carry many roles or labels. A lot of them are based on the gender that we've been assigned. So for women, it's wife, mother, sister, daughter, scheduler, household manager, chef, family therapist, that kind of stuff. For men also, same. There are labels: husband, son, father, brother, financial controller, repair specialist. I'm not being sexist here, but most of these roles are imposed on us by society, and all these roles come with a heck of a lot of responsibilities. The confluence of stars here is trying to say that you may have lost yourself in these roles to the point that you may have neglected your own self-care and self-growth. Worse, these roles and labels may have sucked you in, and you may have accidentally allowed them to define who you are and who you can be. These labels, virtuous as they are, can lead to self-neglect and stagnation. Honestly, as someone who lives in my head a lot, for me, right, this is my biggest fear. When our world shrinks to the labels that society puts on us, we lose sight of our own true potential and begin to live within the limits others have defined. But becoming more than those labels takes courage, which is why we have the thriving star. Okay? Since the thriving star means support or wealth opportunities from friends, therefore, we need to either create or reconnect with our support system. In 2024, with the rest god, you had the potential to create that support system. If you had done so, great. If not, it's not too late. Do it now. Okay, see, stepping out of our self-imposed prisons require a lot of courage. It may also require dealing with a fair bit of guilt as well. So, an easy way to acquire that courage is to rely on our friends. Let's say you found a class that you're interested in. Find a friend who's also interested. Join the class together. Become study buddies, for example. Or don't keep saying no when your friends invite you out for meals or drinks or outings, that kind of stuff. So I'm not saying discard those labels. I'm saying please focus on self-growth as well. Prioritize your self-care. And since the day pillar also governs the home that you currently live in, and since the calamity Shah indicates some damage to the house, be vigilant about small repairs so that they don't become big, expensive repairs. And if you live in a disaster-prone area, All right, make sure your car or home insurance payments are up to date, and if you're advised to evacuate, for heaven's sake, go. Okay, so finally, rabbit in the hour. Okay, whether it's investment, mindset, or children, same thing. Understand how your brain shapes your reality. Let me explain. Prison inmate, limited perspectives. Calamity Shah, overgeneralization. Every single day, our brain gathers evidence and makes choices that strengthen what we already believe. This is called confirmation bias law, right? So our brains naturally make every effort to have our external circumstances match our internal beliefs. Why? Because then it becomes safe and predictable. This is the reason why many people are very defensive about their negativity. This means that we as humans are wired to stay consistent with who we think we are. So this mental picture of ourselves in our head. So remember, labels? So when we use labels to ourselves, like I'm a procrastinator, I'm an overthinker, I'm not creative, and all a gazillion other I ams, our brains will naturally find evidence for it, and it will use that same evidence to reinforce this reality. This reality feels like truth because it's actually just our perceived reality. So this is where our power lies. With the help of the thriving star, we can change our perceived reality by reframing our internal beliefs while actively finding and creating external evidence to support them. Okay? So when someone compliments us, believe them. Say thank you. And internalize that compliment, reinforce that compliment. Let's say someone complimented you on a well-presented speech or presentation. Tell yourself, oh, so-and-so just said, I deliver a great presentation. I think so-and-so is so smart because he or she is so right. Okay, I am a good presenter. Do this often enough, our brains will naturally support this new reality. In other words, what I'm trying to do here is to encourage you to use positive cognitive bias so that we can start to reshape our reality. And this is where the strategy of focusing on helping others come in. When we do a good deed, we feel good, right? Okay, so when we feel good, we're more willing to try new things, correct? So when it comes to investments, perhaps you've been using the same strategies for a long time. Maybe it's time to check out some new opportunities or strategies, or maybe the current investments are a little bit stuck. So again, need to get curious about new opportunities. So if the ultimate use of the thriving star is to switch our focus to others, then who can we work with in 2025? Okay, let's check in with your buddies. Pick is the leader of the Brat Pack in 2025. So this can be good for you. The pick is initiating change. So you could either take inspiration from them or you could help them to navigate change. The goat needs support like you, short on the positive stars, heavy on the negative stars. So maybe reach out, offer some mutual support, lean on me when you're not strong, I'll be your friend, I'll help you carry on. Yeah, if you know the lyrics of that song, you're about the same age as me, okay? So the dog is on a discomfort growth path. Again, leaning together, grow together, experience together. Keyword for the rabbit in 2025. All right, let me teach you a Malaysian English phrase. It's called together, gather, right? To explain. In Malay, the word for together is bersama-sama. Malay language uses a lot of rhythmic reduplications, right? And when we transliterate into Malaysian's version of English, bersama-sama becomes together, gather. Okay, so whatever you want to do, get a friend to join you. Explore together, grow together, have fun together. Remember, okay, together, okay. So now, let's sum things up. In 2025, if the rabbit feels stuck or like things are low-key stalling, the way out is through the crew. This isn't the time to fly solo. Okay, you've got people in your corner, and now is when you lean on your ride or dies. Whether it's friends or your partners, they've got fresh ideas and energy to pull you out of the funk. They'll see what you're too close to notice, and just like that, New opportunities may start popping up when you roll together. So your, your circle isn't just there for the hype, they're your strategy squad. So if you've got a project that's stuck, hit up your crew for a brainstorming session or collaborate with a partner who's got the skills to match. Okay, so with their help, you'll move from meh to making moves. Okay, the rabbit social game is always strong, and this year that charm will bring the right people into your orbit. Trust the process and let your network elevate you out of the grind. Don't sleep on the power of your connections. In 2025, your people see your potential, even when you are feeling blocked. Whether it's getting real advice or just someone to help you recharge, your friends and partners are the key to snapping out of stagnation. So lean in, team up, and watch how fast you can bounce back and keep it moving this year. And with that, let me wish you 恭喜發財，事事順利. May 2025 bring you an influx of new energy, abundance, and prosperity. And with that, I'll see you in the next video. And until I do that, you have a great day ahead. Bye now.